We have just hit 50,000 subscribers. This is just the beginning, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. Here we have a compilation of creepy and mysterious videos that are going to reveal some dark and disturbing secrets. Let's check this out.
You'll own nothing and you'll be happy. That's what the World Economic Forum said in a video predicting life by 2030. They described a world where you don't own your own home, you don't own your own car, you don't even own your data. You just rent everything. No privacy, no ownership. And somehow you're meant to be happy about it. But if you own nothing, who owns everything? Who profits from a world where the population depends on subscriptions to survive? This wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was posted publicly, then deleted quietly.
If you look at Google, it says in 120 seconds, if you stare at the sun, you'll go blind for the rest of your life. But for the last 6 years, I've stared at the sun in Washington Square Park for up to 5 hours a day, every single day. And all it's done is given me a beautiful tan, made me really happy, given me perfect vision, hasn't hurt me in any way whatsoever. So maybe after 10
perfect vision
or 15 years of people seeing me stare at the sun, they'll know they can also.
That's literally, this is the craziest thing I've heard all day. I've never...
The sun's coming out right now, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna pass. Yeah. But you're doing it and you're fine.
But notice the smile too.
I see the smile. I saw the smile. That's why I wanted to interview you. I saw you smiling, staring at the sun.
Never burn candles in your home. Why not?
When you light a candle, you're not just liberating fragrance chemicals, but there also is toluene, benzene, and other toxic chemicals that are known to be human carcinogens through the route of inhalation being released into the air. We don't necessarily need candles anymore, but people use them for religious reasons. There's many reasons to use candles. But when you are using a conventional candle with synthetic dyes, petroleum-based wax, and synthetic undisclosed fragrance in particular, you're releasing particulate matter, ultrafine particulate matter, which is the most hazardous type. So we really need to be careful, especially if you have kids. These chemicals are not just staying in the air, they attach to house dust and deposit on the surfaces of your home. So if you have a baby that's crawling around on the floor, putting things in his or her mouth, they're inhaling all of this and ingesting all of these particles. They cannot detoxify the way that adults can. Their bodies are developing, and these early life exposures have lifelong consequences.
I mean, that's the first time I've ever heard that, but I'm pretty sure they don't print that on the back of the label.
So King Solomon wanted me to ask you, what's the biggest conspiracy theory which you think is actually true?
This is gonna blow your mind.
Oof. Tell King Solomon I like his style. Here's the one I put at the top of the list. The biggest conspiracy theory I think is actually true. That reality itself is being controlled by a false construct, and we're only seeing a fraction of what's really here. It's not just about governments or secret societies. It's about a full spectrum illusion, a matrix layered over Earth held in place by false time, false history, false memory. And most people have no idea. They don't even know they're dreaming. The real conspiracy, that human beings are multidimensional, sovereign, deeply powerful creators, and something has hijacked that truth.
I swear to you, the way AI has just infiltrated our society, it's extremely scary.
Guys, I'm an 80s kid, and we were told nearly every day that we were all going to get scorched to death because us bad humans were making a hole in the ozone layer, spraying all of our deodorants and all those kind of things into the atmosphere. And yeah, I'm still around, and so are many other people from that era. And the same thing's going on again here. You know, we're being told that the ice caps are melting. They're indoctrinating children to tell them that we're all gonna die and go underwater if we don't sort things out, and, you know, pay higher taxes and live in 15-minute cities and have social credit scores to protect the climate. And yet here we see the same exact sea level, 1898, 2022. It's a crock of crap.
What if the forests around us are not just a collection of silent trees, but part of a vast intelligent network, almost like nature's version of the internet? A rising theory suggests that plants, especially trees, are connected through underground fungal systems in a way that allows them to communicate, share resources, and even warn each other of danger. Known to scientists as the Wood Wide Web, This network of mycorrhizal fungi links plant roots and is already recognized for its role in nutrient sharing. But some theorists believe it goes much further. They argue that this network is a conscious, cooperative system, where plants send distress signals, support weaker members of the forest, and store knowledge passed on through generations. Some even claim that forests may act as a collective brain, storing environmental data and responding with coordinated behavior. Mainstream science acknowledges. What if the forests around us are not just a collection of silent trees, but part of a vast intelligent network, almost like nature's version of the internet? A rising theory suggests that plants, especially trees, are connected through underground fungal systems in a way that allows them to communicate, share resources, and even warn each other of danger. Known to scientists as the Wood Wide Web, this network of mycorrhizal fungi links plant roots and is already recognized for its role in nutrient sharing. But some theorists believe it goes much further. They argue that this network is a conscious, cooperative system, where plants send distress signals, support weaker members of the forest, and store knowledge passed on through generations. Some even claim that forests may act as a collective brain, storing environmental data and responding with coordinated behavior. Mainstream science acknowledges the physical network, but is cautious about labeling it intelligent. Still, this idea fascinates many who wonder, are we missing an entire level of consciousness beneath our feet? If true, this theory would challenge what we know about intelligence, cooperation, and the very definition of life itself.
What if the languages we speak today are not naturally evolved, but carefully designed to shape how we think? A growing conspiracy theory suggests that major world languages were deliberately altered or even entirely fabricated in the past few centuries to control human perception, limit free thought, and erase inconvenient historical truths. Supporters of this theory claim that historical records of ancient languages are suspiciously fragmented, with large gaps and inconsistencies in their evolution. Some believe that powerful institutions, such as religious orders or secret societies, systematically reshaped language to manipulate human consciousness, removing words that allowed for deeper understanding of reality. Others point to the rapid global standardization of certain languages, such as English and Mandarin, as part of an effort to suppress forgotten dialects that may have contained hidden knowledge. Critics argue that linguistic evolution is well documented and shaped by natural cultural exchange, not conspiracy. However, if words define how we think and perceive the world, could it be possible that some languages were designed to limit human potential rather than expand it?
I mean, that's extremely possible. Saying that, I've always thought to myself that language was a limitation, a way of restricting us, being able to pull the wool over someone's eyes. Imagine if we were telepathic. We would never be able to lie to each other. Lies wouldn't exist.
This has been concealed for centuries. The real purpose of the Eiffel Tower is something far beyond what you've been told. Most people believe it's nothing more than a symbol of Parisian culture or a product of the industrial era. The truth? The Eiffel Tower was designed as a massive antenna, an instrument for wireless electricity experiments, and its secrets could have revolutionized the world. The year was 1889, and the tower was unveiled at the Paris World's Fair, touted as a temporary exhibit. But here's where it gets strange. The true intent behind this engineering marvel was hidden in plain sight. Nikola Tesla visited Paris in the 1880s. During his stay, he met with Gustave Eiffel and shared his groundbreaking vision for a world powered by free, wireless energy. Tesla had already proven with his Wardenclyffe Tower that electricity could be transmitted wirelessly across vast distances. Eiffel, utterly fascinated by Kessler's revolutionary ideas, took these principles and incorporated them into the design of the Eiffel Tower. This was not just about aesthetics, this was about power, real power. During the tower's construction, strange phenomena were reported. Electromagnetic anomalies, unexplained lights, and strange sparks were seen surrounding the tower. Locals spoke of nighttime experiments, and some even claimed to have witnessed orbs of light dancing around the structure. Why hasn't this been exposed?
I'm not too sure how true that is, but one thing I do know is Nikola Tesla was a very, very intelligent man.
Who do you think really runs the world?
You're going to go there, huh, with the question. Who do I think runs the world? So I used to ask the question, I said, who's got the most power in America? Is it...
Who do you think really runs the world?
You're going to go there, huh, with the question. Who do I think runs the world? So I used to ask the question, I said, who's got the most power in America? Is it Congress? Is it president? Or is it billionaires? You'd be amazed how few people say president. Because they come and go. The famous quote with Putin that he says, you know, American presidents, you don't have to worry about it. They're going to be there 4 to 8 years. Some suits are running, and run the country behind closed doors. He's got a very good point when he says something like that, Putin. So let's go process and dissect some of these guys that make all the money in the world. You become a billionaire and you're still dangerously ambitious. And you're like, well, I want more control. I want more power. I can't be a president. I don't want to be a president because if I run for president, they're going to reveal the things that I've done in my life. And God forbid, if that gets all the light, I don't want that. That's embarrassing. But you know what I'm going to do? What if I can take over the world? Are there other people like me that are driven by wanting to take over the world? What if we could make the world one place and we make all the decisions for everybody? Because I'm probably one of the smartest people in the world. Think about what things people are most addicted to. Video games, partying. But what's one of the most addicting things that many of those guys can't get? Power.
They put child cells in Burger King and McDonald's.
That sounds expensive. McDonald's goes and buys child cells. Wouldn't that really lower the profit margins? Think about it. If you owned a restaurant, are you like, hey, let's also buy kids to chop up and put our food and risk lawsuits and pay, and you have to pay for the kids.
And I'm talking about here.
The kid's already dead because their blood is sucked out. And they take the body parts and put that in the food.
You can't believe that.
I don't know who this lady is talking about putting children's cells in McDonald's burgers. Lucky I don't even eat McDonald's anyway.
I'll just give you one example. If you go to McDonald's, anywhere in the world, you will find French fries, or chips as you call them, and you will find that they're always made from the same potato, the russet burbank potato. This is a potato from America that's unusually long and difficult to grow, but that's what they want, because when you're McDonald's, you like those red boxes with a little bouquet of very long chips. It looks really good, and so they insist that all their potatoes be russet burbanks, and they further insist that they have no blemishes at all. There's a very common defect of russet burbank potatoes called net necrosis. And you've seen potatoes with a little brown line sometimes, or spots that come through it. Well, McDonald's won't buy them if your potatoes have that. And the only way to eliminate that is to eliminate an aphid. And the only way to do that is with a pesticide called Monitor that is so toxic that the farmers who grow these potatoes in Idaho won't venture outside into their fields for 5 days after they spray.
Wow.
And then when they harvest their potatoes, they have to put them in these atmosphere-controlled sheds the size of a football stadium because they're not edible for 6 weeks. They have to off-gas all the chemicals in them. So you see, the desire for a certain kind of chip leads to a certain kind of agriculture.
I don't know what McDonald's are doing over there, but after watching that, ladies and gentlemen, I can only advise you to stop eating McDonald's.
Because you have two billionaires from New York running around the same circles, right?
Yeah.
So you have these people that are wealthy, powerful, and they don't know each other. So what happened as soon as Diddy went down? Mike Jeffries gets indicted. The New York mayor, Eric Adams, gets indicted. Nobody's thinking about this, right? So you don't think he's telling? You don't think he's part of this? And Mike Jeffries, the former CEO of Abercrombie & Fitch, he was part of...
He got out.
He got out because he said he had dementia.
He was in the same jail, right?
Yes, and they said he has dementia, and now he's unfit for trial. That's bullshit, right? But Mike Jeffries is linked to Epstein because he was put in place by Lex Wexner, right? That owned Abercrombie & Fitch, L Brands. Now, L Brands, he owned a multitude of businesses. You know, he had Abercrombie & Fitch, he had Victoria's Secret. Now, who was his money manager and he left his estate to? None other than Jeffrey Epstein. Okay? So they're all running together. And you don't think Diddy knows this?
He just made a massive, massive point there. Whatever they were doing, ladies and gentlemen, they got away with it for years, and years. See, Diddy, he had celebs, but Epstein had world leaders.
There was an event that we were going to the one time. It was an after party, but again, it was at Stringfellows. So these music parties are at strip joints. Why? There's kind of industry people, there's people who are trying to make it, and then there was this other vibe. So I look over here and there's like young people, like young dudes and young girls. We're talking like 14, maybe even as early as like 13. And also like the clothes that the girls were wearing, some girls were in like very see-through type stuff. You could just see their breasts, like it was just a bit like, and it turned out it was Max Clifford and Simon Cowell's regular do. It was called The Buffet.
A regular event by Simon Cowell called The Buffet, where you can find underage minors, according to this guy.
That aliens are on the far side of the moon, and they are not our friends. It's a very interesting story. Ingo Swann, very interesting cat.
So what took these photographs?
The moon surveyor, lunar surveyor, satellite.
And none of that stuff's ever been released?
Oh, they released a lot of images from the far side, but they release what they release. That's why we know there's fewer impacts on the far side, because we've seen those images.
But there's no images of these domes or whatever?
No. I've seen some that maybe are faked, that look pretty compelling. I forget what episode I just showed them in, but when I found them, it was mind-blowing. And I can't find them again for some reason. Like I wanted them for another episode, and I can't find the photos, which is always suspicious to me. It's like suddenly the thing is blurry off of Malibu. It's like you just can't find the stuff. But my gut tells me something's going on up there. Someone's aware of it, and I'm dying to know what it is.
It would be unbelievable if Mars was the first planet that had life before Earth was capable of supporting life. It reached a very high level of sophistication and then started seeding Earth.
Right. Panspermia theory.
Yeah.
I believe we have at least one rock from Mars that just landed here. I think we have one of those. So from maybe a giant impact or something through some of Mars over here.
But the idea, I think, is that their atmosphere was deteriorating, or that they were getting further and further from the sun.
Their magnetic field was weakening, strips away the atmosphere.
And so this would be the thing. If you were a super advanced civilization, the race would get so advanced that you could leave your planet.
Yes.
And that's the only way you're going to survive, because eventually your planet is going to move over millions of years further and further away from the sun, not able to inhabit life anymore.
Right. So maybe send your DNA or whatever to the third rock.
Or Anunnaki. That's the good one.
Yeah, they show up everywhere.
That's the ultimate one.
That is the big one. The Anunnaki's the big one.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's one that makes you go, oh.
Because it shows up everywhere. It shows up in the Bible. It shows up in the Mahabharata. It shows up in ancient Chinese literature. It shows up everywhere. Not always called the Anunnaki, but the Anunnaki, and then they have their servile species that could be the Nephilim, could be the giants, and then they take these primitive humans, give them just enough intelligence to mine the gold. It's part of the lore.
Anunnaki story is a very, very interesting one, but the moon landing, Buzz Aldrin basically said they never, ever went to the moon. It was all made up. What do you guys think? Comment down below, let me know.
There's underground civilizations on this earth who are very advanced. They've got a whole world down there that we don't know anything about. A lot of people don't even want to believe that. But they have their own sun, they have their own oceans, they have everything underneath the planet. But we were taught that it's really hot inside. It's a molten iron, the center of the earth. And the further down you go, the hotter it gets. So how could anybody live down there? Nah, it's not possible. It's all a fairy tale, you see. But if you want to believe that, what our scientists know is only a smidgen of the totality of what knowledge exists.
I mean, he does have a point there, but that's a very, very interesting theory. And I've heard that one before. People living within the earth.
Chlorine, fluoride, heavy metals, bacteria, and so much more. Why is it so important to the government that the water that we bathe in and drink is contaminated? People, movies, scientists, TV shows have all made claims about the power of water. I bet this scene went right over your head.
I want to know what happened to them.
The water is literally showing her. A doctor named Masaru Emoto exposed this, that when frozen, you can see the messages and memory in water. You can also change the molecular structure of water with your intentions and emotion. And let's not forget that water can be portals. Everything that you see that they put out, they're not showing it for no reason. Every time in Stranger Things where Eleven wanted to see into different places and travel, she would have to be in water. I mean, just think about it. If water holds memory, and water has been on Earth for millions of thousands of years, imagine how much information water carries. Water is in all humans. It connects all the continents together. Everybody remembers the Egyptian saying, as above, so below, right? So if below water connects us to everything, then we have to say the same thing for the universe. My theory that space is the ocean can back this up. Our tap water being contaminated is definitely deeper than the surface. I mean, why is it so hard to have clean, natural water? They gotta put it in our face without telling us. Our restrictions from good water is not just for no reason. It's time to recognize the real. Boil your water. I do not care if it's purified or bottled. We need to get to this information. And yes, the blinds are closed because you know how they is. Open your eyes to the real and stay dangerous.
Again, she made some really good points there. One thing I can say is I drink 2 liters of water every single day. I recommend you do the same. All right, there we have it, ladies and gentlemen, a compilation of creepy and mysterious videos that are going to reveal some dark and disturbing truths. I need to know exactly how you guys are feeling after watching that one. There's going to be plenty more of these videos uploading, so make sure you guys go nowhere, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if we're newly watching, turn your notification bells on, and I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.